I think Tom Cruise lives in a world where he's impenetrable
To be fair, I've never once penetrated him.
because he's,
He may be impenetrable.
you know what? You don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's true. I just know I've never done it.
Go try and penetrate him. You know what? Make that your pop culture resolution. I'm going to penetrate him
I am not a part of this.
with his consent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, let's get into the main review. This is episode 2 of the event series Missions Probable, a cult pop event series.
Yes.
We previously reviewed and discussed. Oh, I didn't do it. We previously reviewed and discussed Mission Impossible 1, directed by Brian De Palma. Starring.
Great.
Yeah, it was a really wonderful
fantastic.
movie.
Spoiler alert.
How did you feel
for
about
the podcast? Mission Impossible 1 is dope.
Spoiler alert for the podcast.
Yeah.
For the previous podcast that you're obviously going to go talk about.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys vamp while I take care of the
Oh, Pink is in the
description.
chat saying powers.
Oh, all right.
She loves the We 3 trade. You'll love it. So We 3, for anyone who doesn't know, and you're in the area of Philadelphia, I run a book club every month. And if you're on Facebook, you can join the group. It's JD's Hero Complex Book Club and Events. And we generally vote on what the next book is going to be. Also, we do a drink and draw event every month. And for this month, we're doing We 3 by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, which is, I want to say it's out by DC Comics at this point.
It is DC, yeah.
Was it a-
DC Black Label?
Black Label, yeah. And it's about 3 animals who have been stolen by the government to become super weapons, and then they escape. So yeah, come hang out with us Monday night on the 23rd, I believe it is, at 8 p.m. at Fat Lady Brewing upstairs, and we'll discuss We 3, the graphic novel.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a little sad. There's some violence towards animals.
I meant the book club overall.
Oh yeah, the book club overall.
Book club overall. I have not read this comic yet.
Book club is sad.
Yeah, it's
Every
just
time,
us
like
sobbing.
we do a YA book, and it's just crying.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
It's cathartic.
So Mission Impossible 2 came out in the year 2000, 56% Rotten Tomato score. We will
high.
talk about if that.
Sorry.
We will talk about if that is
Listen,
an appropriate
that's my
score or
area.
not.
Sorry.
Directed by John Woo.
Love that guy.
Written by Robert Towne, starring Tom Cruise, Tendaway Newton, Ving Rhames, Dougray Scott, and Anthony Hopkins.
Dougray?
Yeah. Doug Ray, Dougray.
Hate it.
Tom Cruise returns to his role as Ethan Hunt in the second installment of Mission Impossible. This time, Ethan Hunt leads his IMF team on a mission to capture a deadly German virus before it is released by terrorists. His mission is made impossible due to the fact that he is not the only person after the samples of the disease. He must also contest with a gang of international terrorists headed by a turned bad former IMF agent who has already managed to steal the cure.
What?
So there's the twist. We have the cure.
Oh.
We're trying to get the disease. So this is a movie. I have a very specific hot take about this movie. We'll get into it later, but I just want to talk through.
Ooh.
We'll start with production and cast. So we talked about who the cast is. If you notice, the only returning members of the cast were Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames. This was a very intentional thing. Because it is Mission Impossible is an old 1960s television show. The idea was that these movies would become anthologies.
Yeah.
So each movie being a mission. That means
Well, the series would be an anthology.
the series of movies would be an anthology, as in each movie is a different mission with potentially a different aesthetic, a different kind of vibe, a different.
Is this considered a saga?
Actually, I would.
An Impossible Saga?
The Impossible Missions. I mean, if they continued with this type, because this is the last time that they tried to work with a different like kind of vibe or aesthetic, movies beyond this just kind of became the same type of movie. This one is the sore thumb of the entire series.
It really is.
So like I kind of appreciate that swing. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we had Brian De Palma. Where we go next? I don't know. There's that guy who kind of made popular double pistols and flying around in doves. Let's get him.
Of the killer?
Yeah, I've got that in here. So other than the two actors, the returning writer showed up, Robert Towne, who wrote Days of Thunder and a lot of other Tom Cruise movies. He's like one of the Tom Cruise writers.
Sure.
He's
Mainstays.
Yeah, like I think he also did a couple of drafts of Top Gun, stuff like that.
Cool.
So they brought Robert Towne in after working or developing the script with a couple of other people, most notably Ronald D. Moore and Brandon Braga, who are responsible for Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Battlestar Galactica, which have you ever read Battlestar Galactica or seen Battlestar Galactica, the TV show?
Yes.
They're responsible for that.
Surprisingly good sci-fi series.
So good.
I got on that late on the train, but man, I really liked it.
So they get story credit for this movie, but Robert Towne has full script credit. Arbitration's a thing. So this time, the Mission Impossible film had a slightly different mandate, which was to lean into action.
All right.
Most of which had already been devised by the time Robert Towne came on. So like, much like the last movie, they actually just came up with action sequences and reverse engineered a script around it.
John Woo was like, I want to do this. Make me a story that gets me to do that.
And the ultimate yes-ander, Tom Cruise, is like, yeah, but what if I'm like on a rock face?
Yeah.
Or like, what if I'm on a ninja bike? Like they just...
A ninja bike.
They kept yes-anding each other. So they had the action sequences in pre-development, and then they just kind of like reverse engineered a script to it. So
I'm
like...
sorry, I was thinking about a BMX that's also a ninja.
So I was thinking...
That goes on adventures.
Ninja speed bikes.
Yeah.
It turns-
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But honestly, I'd watch the fuck out of that.
Right?
I'd watch the fuck out of BMX Tom Cruise.
Yeah, ninja. BMX ninja Tom Cruise?
Done.
Greenlit.
As long as they continue that thing where they come at each other and then jump. Anyway.
Sorry.
So a common criticism of the first movie was that it relied a little too heavily on convoluted plot elements.
What?
Yeah, that was a
Man, there's one thing I don't like in my spy movies, it's plot.
It's convolution. Like the constant like, oh, you're the villain. No, you are. Like the twisty of it all.
It's the best part.
It was an overcorrection. The idea of okay.
What if we made it dumb?
It was an overcorrection.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make it a more linear. This is just a mission.
Yeah.
This is just a complete this seemingly impossible task, which did dumb down the movie.
It really did.
It was a conscious decision to make it more explicitly espionage. And this is the last movie in the franchise to do that.
Understandably.
Because there were
For good reason.
There were a lot of allusions and like there's a lot of like comparisons to this movie and the James Bond output of the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
How they went overboard in like weird tech that is not even sci-fi, it's basically fantasy and like really huge action. And this movie was kind of lumped in with those Pierce Brosnan movies. So like they overcorrected and then just kind of like brought it back for the next one.
Yeah.
But that was kind of where they were coming with this one. To hammer that point home, they brought in world-renowned action director from Hong Kong, John Woo. The Killer, Hard-Boiled, Bullet in the Head. But to American audiences, I'm talking about masterpieces like Hard Target.
Which one was that?
That's the Jean-Claude Van Damme with a mullet versus Lance Henriksen.
Oh.
Broken Arrow, which we watched a trailer for before this.
Yes, we did.
Broken Arrow is awesome. I've only watched that once in the theater. I refuse to
Watch it again.
because it's too awesome.
Look, okay, so I saw it in the theater with my parents. Watch it again, but this time as a drinking game. Every time a helicopter explodes, finish your drink.
Can we do this?
There are
Finish your drink?
That's my pop culture resolution.
There are 4 to 5 helicopters that just explode in that movie.
Nice.
It's awesome. Anyway, and Face
The
Off.
Hulk.
Face Off. No, that's Ang Lee.
Oh, it is Ang Lee. Oh, that's racist. Sorry.
They both are incredibly similar in so much as America brought them in. They did a couple of really wonderful things, and then they went back because we chew things up and spit them out.
Yeah.
Especially creativity. So John Woo,
I can't believe that was Ang Lee.
For those of you that have not seen Face Off, Broken Arrow, or even his earlier movies like The Killer and Hard Boiled, he is synonymous with the type of action direction that is now rote.
Yeah.
Double pistols, quick edits,
Slow motion,
actually a little less slow motion, like not Zack Snyder slow motion, but like wide angle slow motion. Doves, birds, things flying at the actors. Like it is the seeds of what John Wick is now were planted in the late 90s, early 2000s by people like John Woo. He is
Well said.
He's the author of it.
For sure.
So this really was a huge get, and kind of like when you heard that John Woo was going to do the next Mission Impossible movie, it was like, oh,
Of course.
yeah,
Of course. I can't.
sense.
What? Yeah.
So director, writer, cast all together. Now it's time to make a picture. There are many instances of friction on the set.
Yeah.
One notably being the introduction of Ethan Hunt. So the first sequence in this movie is a rock climbing sequence. Well, the second sequence, there's a cold open.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise was adamant about free climbing those rock faces in Utah. The studio was like, nah, fam, please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't.
And
He's like, I'm gonna do it
And they were like,
anyway.
Tom Cruise,
Bring the
bitch.
camera or don't.
can you lead climb at least or top rope? And he's like, no. So for those of you who don't know, lead climbing is I climb a little bit, I clamp in, and then put my rope on it. Climb a little bit, clamp in, put my rope on it. So you're constantly kind of like protecting yourself from the next 10 feet. Top roping is just there's a rope at the top and you climb it.
It's like you're belaying.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do any of that.
No.
Nope.
He's like, what if I use spit?
So we go back and forth, and there is rumor that he also fired insurance agencies that weren't willing to cover him for like certain points. Like he's the most covered, and then like
We also, I
insurance
read
companies
that he had lied to them and said like, stunt dudes are totally gonna do it. What are you, dumb? And he was like, psych.
there was a they made a compromise.
Yeah.
He did have a small harness with just a wire, like I'm gonna fall down wire, not any like the kind of wire that's not visible on screen. So it's like, you know when somebody, like in an old wushu movie, when somebody's like doing a high kick, you have that wire that only certain lights can capture.
Yeah.
He had that,
Okay.
which is hardly enough.
Yeah.
So he did do all those climbs. That was all him. And like we were watching it, and I was, Alice rock climbs, and I used to rock climb, so it was like, that's so fucking hard.
I
Like
went rock
That's
climbing for the first
terrifying.
time in weeks yesterday, and I'm so sore today.
the first time that he actually puts his knees under that one rock face to like just hold himself and
Shake out his
his arm.
forearms. Yeah.
what the fuck? Also, that jump from one cliff to the other, he did that,
Shut up.
and he tore his arm. That
course
was
he did.
all him.
Of course he did.
That's all him. No safety net. One
That's
wire.
impossible. What?
Is it a mission that's impossible?
What? I mean, is it a mission? I don't know.
So Tom Cruise is a menace
Yeah.
to the studio.
His mission is to give people heart attacks, and he's going to kill himself. with that.
He did get his way, refused to change. So the production also had a couple of other really annoying things that happened to it. First of all, the actors knew that they had a bad script.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
They were.
Back in 2020, Tendaway Newton told a story about how there's
Hold on. Back up.
Yeah.
Explain the Tendaway thing. Because you told me this before we went live, and I love it.
her stage name was used to be Tandy Newton. She's
Yeah.
credited as Tandy Newton. It's just THANDIE. But she, I want to say maybe 10 years ago, decided to go with her real name, her birth name, Tendaway. I didn't look up the actual
Tendiwe.
yeah. I didn't look up where it comes from or what her ethnicity is.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But it is Tindiwe.
Yeah.
It's just a W, which she has removed for purposes of seeming like a, anglicized normie, which
Yeah.
shouldn't need to happen. But, it was the late 90s. What are you going to do? Everyone sucks.
Well, she's British.
Yeah, but like
Melanie Tendaway Newton.
the name is
name.
something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a story that she told a couple years ago about
Zambia?
Zambia. There you go.
There we go.
There's a story that she told a couple years ago about them filming a scene on a balcony in Spain.
I know the scene. Mhm. I just watched it.
The plot of the movie involves her cozying up to a terrorist because they had a relationship once, and she has to go pretend to still be with him.
Yep.
And this is a sequence where Ethan Hunt is trying to convince her or explain to her that we need you to basically whore yourself out for the national interest.
Yeah.
It is such a poorly written script and a poorly plotted scene that she told a story about how both actors struggled with the dialogue to kind of like apply any emotion to it, to the point where they started swapping dialogue. Like she would read his part and vice versa to see if that even worked. And it was just a clusterfuck, and she ended the story with like, God bless Tom Cruise, because he just kept going and salvaged it. But you can see those sequences all over the thing. The other story that I wanted to tell really quick before we move to the next piece is there's a very interesting tidbit factoid. I don't know if you know it, or I'm sure you don't. Production.
Damn.
No, hold on.
Rude.
Hold on. No, this is actually pretty good, and I think you might not know it too. Production was difficult and eventful. Delays and injuries affected other productions as well.
I did know that,
You know this one?
including X-Men. Sorry.
I knew that.
Tell us more.
Tell me, I don't know.
Well, how though?
Doug Ray Scott, Sean Ambrose, the villain of this movie, was cast
Masterful.
as Wolverine for the 2000 Bryan Singer X-Men movie.
Right.
This movie went
Speaking
2
of
months.
jerks.
This movie went 2 months too long because he had a shoulder injury and he had to drop out of X-Men altogether. So they hired Hugh Jackman as a backup, and it worked out.
Yeah.
But they readjusted filming schedule for X-Men because Hugh Jackman wasn't in shape. So the first scene in X-Men, you see him where he's in the cage fight.
Yeah.
That was shot at the end of production.
Holy shit. I didn't
So
know that.
if you watch the sequence where he's waking up in the X-Mansion, running around without a shirt or just a hoodie on, that is not the same body that is at the end of the movie. You just,
God.
because of movie magic, you just like, you saw him there and you think of it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
that's
literally
cool.
like
That is
crushing weights the whole fucking production because he got the job about 10 minutes before they started filming. Which I thought was pretty cool. But imagine a world where Doug Ray Scott
I don't want to.
was
Given the
Wolverine.
things I've seen Ray Scott in, including this movie, I am so glad that Hugh Jackman got the Wolverine role.
This is not the first time, or this won't be the last time that scheduling at a Mission Impossible movie screws over other superhero productions.
Okay.
Because what is it? What's his name? Cavill?
Henry
Cavill
Oh yeah.
is in part 6, which started filming after Justice League was completed. And then all the stuff that happened with Justice League meant that they had to do pickup shots during production.
when he has a huge mustache.
He has a huge mustache in Mission Impossible. He does not have that mustache in Justice League, and he's got a digital face the whole time, and it's fucking awesome.
I to this day, listen, I am not a CG effects person. The fact that it is bad as it is astounding to me. That they couldn't just remove a mustache.
Oh, I haven't seen this one. I'm excited to see
And
it.
I love the fact that Christopher McQuarrie, the writer and director of Mission Impossibles 5 through 8, was like, no, he's not going to shave his mustache for continuity. Fuck you, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And they had to create like millions of dollars worth of special effects to salvage their broken movie. But anyway, the end of production, budget of the movie was about $125 million. Filming took place between April and December of 1999. As noted, the movie takes place almost exclusively in Australia. It was filmed in Australia and takes place in Australia. So I think like it's a postcard for all things Australia, except the rock climbing scene, which was in Utah. Other than that, that is production and cast of the American epic that is Mission Impossible 2. JD.
Oh, hey, hi there.
I would like you to tell us about the music and score of Mission Impossible 2, also known as Mission M:I-2.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. So for anyone who is not aware, back in The Rain Man, 1988, did he win an Oscar for that? Nominated for an Oscar, Tom Cruise was.
Dustin Hoffman won an Oscar.
Oh, he won. In Rain Man, 1988, there is a song called, is it Aiko? The song playing during the rock climbing scene in this Mission Impossible 2 that you kind of, I was watching it being like,
Yes.
is there a song playing? Where is that song coming from? And then it just sort of builds gradually as Tom Cruise is
I think that bleed
rockscaping.
I think that bleed in is masterful.
Oh yeah, it's fun. But it's also prominently featured in Tom Cruise's earlier movie Rain Man from 1988. However, the version of the song in this movie, Mission Impossible 2, is called Iko Iko Suko Mama by Zap Mama. The lyrics are different than Iko Iko by the Bell Stars in Rain Man and does not appear on the commercially available soundtrack.
It does appear on the commercially available score, which I have on CD.
By
It's the first Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer,
It's
of course.
the first track of the score because he rearranged it, which is cool as hell. Anyway, sorry.
So let's see what else. John Woo likes to create theme music with his composer in advance of production as it works as inspiration while working. Their time in Spain led he and Hans Zimmer to incorporate the guitar into more of the music. The Spanish guitar that I hate so much in this score. It's not because it's Spanish guitar. It is because it is used to such ridiculous effect in this movie. Spoiler alert, I find this movie to be very awesome, but also daytime television.
It's trashy.
It's trash. Bordering on garbage that I kind of love.
Trash.
And anytime that this Spanish guitar comes in, it just feels so cringy and forced. Not a fan. Any whomst. The last time we did one of these, Mission Impossible 1,
Check it out.
my favorite, check it out.
Like,
on
comment,
the CultPop
subscribe, and check it
Podcast.
out. Yeah.
My favorite tidbit of information was that the original score for the Mission Impossible television show was based on the Morse code for MI. So dun 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 is the Morse code for MI, for the letters MI. My favorite bit on this soundtrack is that, so this movie came out in 2000, and the old heads amongst us in the internet might remember that Metallica went up against Napster in a very popular battle, legal battle. And it's all because of the Metallica song that's on this soundtrack that wound up playing on the radio without Metallica releasing it.
I Disappear.
I Disappear is the name of the song.
It's a good song.
Not good.
It's a good song.
It's not for me. It's not a good Metallica song. It's not a good Metallica song. How about that?
I think it's a later Metallica song. It's like it's a Fuel area, or what is it?
Post-Fuel.
Post-Fuel.
Metallica, I would say. Any whomst.
Load and Reload. I apologize. Not Fuel and Reload.
Was that Fuel?
Am I right, Dylan?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Load.
pretty
It's
sure
like a
on Load.
post.
Oh, Load.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Like Unforgiven
the same
2
thing.
era,
Yeah.
kind of poppy Metallica, not Enter
The
Sandman
sellout era.
Metallica.
So on
sellout
July 11, 2000, Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich read testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee accusing Napster of copyright infringement. He explained that year, Metallica discovered that a demo of I Disappear, a song set to be released with the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack, was being played on the radio. Metallica traced the leak to a file on Napster's peer-to-peer file sharing network where the band's entire catalog was available for free download. Metallica argued that Napster was enabling users to exchange copyright MP3 files. So they sought a minimum of $10 million in damages at a rate of $100,000 per illegally downloaded song. Metallica, who were allegedly sharing the band's songs online in violation of copyright laws. Oh, I skipped a line there. I'm so sorry. Metallica hired NetPD, an online consulting firm. Blah, 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 blah. Demanded that their songs be banned from file sharing and that the users responsible for sharing their music be banned from the service. This led to over 300,000 users being banned from Napster, although software was released that simply altered the Windows registry and allowed users to rejoin the service under a different name.
Early VPN shit.
So yeah, I had heard all about this stuff, and I did know that it had to do with this specific soundtrack. So yeah, I thought that was a really interesting little tidbit.
Yeah.
Maturity is understanding that Lars Ulrich was right.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, at the time, though, being like a poor college student, it was just like, well, why can't I find these music?
Yeah.
But I mean, maturity is realizing that, yeah, artists should be paid for their work. Christopher St. Saucy, you're not going to hear this until you're later in the episode, but yes, we saw your message. I want to see Better Man. I'm going to try and see it tomorrow because it's the last day to see it in theaters in our
Really?
area. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's going away Friday.
Vicious Marshmallow says, Noel looks very handsome tonight. Good job, Noel.
The glasses. Thank you.
Also, they mentioned that I'm on NBC 10 talking about the all-new Venom #2 starring a Philadelphia villain.
Chuck stuff.
Chuck stuff.
Yeah.
Goddamn, that CGI says pink.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my little tidbits about the soundtrack.
What's it?
That's it.
This soundtrack is new metal soundtrack.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm sorry. Also, I guess this is important.
It's so important.
It's
Fucking
how
Limp
fucking new
Bizkit.
metal this soundtrack
fucking
is.
Limp Bizkit
Limp
did the did the theme music for this song, wherein he raps over it.
It still kind of slaps.
No, it does not.
It really
slap.
does. Yeah, no, it still kind of slaps. You weren't there
It
yet.
doesn't even slap a baby.
I like it.
You weren't there yet, but
Yeah.
Sam and I watched the music video before the movie. I should have waited. I'm so sorry.
okay. It's
But
okay.
it's
I forgive
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's
It does not slap.
it's kind of fucking good.
You know what?
I
CultPop
gotta
listeners
like it.
/ viewers,
the rest-
find it and tell us if it slaps.
Also, two things. The rest of the soundtrack is all new metal. This is a product of 2000. It's like, again, a hot take later, but it's Chris Cornell, Limp Bizkit, Metallica. It's so Yes, Limp Bizkit sucks, but also there's a musicianship there that I, in hindsight, can recognize that I didn't recognize before.
So take a look around by Limp Bizkit, featuring the theme music.
Mm-hmm.
I Disappear by Metallica. Scum of the Earth by Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie, I think Butthole Surfers are.
They
in there.
came in. I'm doing it.
Okay, go.
They came in by the Butthole Surfers. Rocket Science by The Pimps. Have a Cigar by Foo Fighters and Brian May. Mission 2000 by Chris Cornell. Going Down by Gobsmack. What you looking at? Uncle Cracker. Backwards by Apartment 26. No, it's the first time I've ever hearing about that.
That's their biggest hit, probably.
Karma by Diffuser. Alone by Buck Cherry. Immune by Tin Fed.
There has never been a soundtrack more year 2000 than
It's
this
so
soundtrack.
2000, and that's kind of why I love
But also
it.
Carnival by Tori Amos, my favorite. I love Tori Amos.
She had a song in the first soundtrack too.
Yeah, she did. Isn't that weird?
It's so fucking
Yeah, fucking Tori
But
Amos out of nowhere.
I had both the soundtrack on CD as well as the score. This is one of my favorite Hans Zimmer scores. This was right after he did
Gladiator.
So he maintained that same kind of like hymnal style
It
with
was
the
really
choral
good in
singing.
Gladiator.
I liked it. I
was
liked
great
it a
in
lot
Gladiator,
here.
y'all.
But there's a couple of like really huge fun stings that I'll show JD after the podcast that I absolutely love. I, as a 21-year-old who was obsessed with just movies, I would re-listen to music cues for this movie, knowing the movie wasn't good, but just like loving like that beat. And there's a couple of parts in this movie that I wore the disc out. Yeah.
When do we get to our opinions?
Not yet.
Okay.
Let me do my thing.
I
I did my homework.
Hey, Alice, why don't you tell us about your homework?
Speaking of opinions,
Yes.
what was the critical reaction and or box office results of Mission Impossible 2?
I'm going to start with box office because I have some fun stuff in the critical reactions that I want there to be interactive things for. So on opening day, which was May 24th, 2000, Mission Impossible 2 made $12.5 million, making it the fourth highest grossing Wednesday opening behind Men in Black,
Ooh.
Independence Day, and Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace.
Ah, fuck that movie.
At the time, it had the largest number of screenings playing at 3,653 theaters, beating out Scream 3.
Oh, cool.
The worst of the franchise, BT Dubs.
Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight's going to disagree. That's his favorite one.
That's his I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah. So it held that record for a year before being surpassed, speak of the devil, by Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It grossed $57,845,297, crossing over Toy Story 2 to have the third highest grossing opening weekend of all time, behind Lost World, Jurassic Park, and Phantom Menace. So the film surpassed its predecessor, Mission Impossible, for not only the highest grossing opening weekend for a film based on a TV show, but also the largest opening weekend for a Paramount film.
Oh.
And
Yeah, it was a big deal.
it became the biggest opening weekend for a spy film, and it held that position until 2002. Do you want to guess what the spy film that held the title before it was?
It's got to be a James Bond.
No.
Oh, really? Oh.
It's Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Fuck off. That's not it. God damn it.
It's in the title. God damn it. He's in that too. Tom Cruise is fucking in Austin Powers 2. No, 3. He's in 3.
He's
My
in
bad.
3.
He's in 3.
So, all right, we're going to have another guessing game. It held the record for the highest grossing opening weekend for a film based on a TV show until 2007, when it was beat out by this film
Based on a television show.
a television show. Hint, it's a cartoon.
Scooby-Doo.
Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Oh! Wah, wah, wah.
Simpsons movie in 2007.
It
Nice.
was a really good movie. It still holds up.
I remember thinking watching The Simpsons, oh, that's where all the good jokes went.
They went to the movie.
Yeah, they were saving all the good jokes for the movie. Awesome.
Just do movies every 5 years.
Yeah.
So it was
Sorry.
the highest grossing film of 2000,
Yeah.
and still is John Woo's highest grossing movie,
What a goddamn shame.
surpassing Face Off. It was Face Off before that.
Would you watch this or Face Off?
Face Off.
Face
Off.
Off, right? Okay.
Objectively, it's a
checking.
better movie.
Off.
Did you do that on mic? Please say you did that on mic.
Oh, damn.
Missed it, but Dylan was in the booth going,
Y'all
Face
look like nerds.
Off.
Can we just watch that?
Can we just watch? Can we just do a Face
I
Off
actually
podcast?
just got it on 4K. I would love to do a face off.
Please.
Please.
Okay, I would love to do
Anyway.
that. Hi, guys.
This
There's
was.
morgue scenes in that.
Yes.
I'm almost positive.
Give me the more.
There's at least like pseudoscience
I've been
dead
inside the
body
morgue.
stuff. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Critical reaction box office.
No, I'm still doing box office. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'll do critical reaction.
Well, I mean, keep going.
It was the highest
good.
highest grossing Mission Impossible movie. When do you think it was surpassed? What movie? Which?
Part 4, right? Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Is
think
that the one with the sandstorm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2011, it was surpassed by Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
I used to think it was Fallout, but it was Part 4. Yeah.
So the budget for this movie was 125 mil. Domestically, it earned 215,409,900, and worldwide, it was like almost 550 million. So
I want to do an inflation calculator.
So was part of your homework like critical reception or
Yeah.
just okay? Cool.
getting into
Cool.
that now.
Cool.
I just had a lot.
I'm so curious.
For what what it earned or what it cost.
What it earned? 250, right?
Domestically, that's what it earned.
let's
Worldwide,
do domestic. I wanna-
215, 215.
I want to do a like what does that mean for today's dollars?
Yeah. But go on.
Okay, so critical reaction. Rotten Tomatoes, as we said earlier, gives it a 56% based on 155 reviews, with the average being about 5.9 out of 10. So this site's critical consensus reads, your cranium may crave more substance, but your eyes will feast on the amazing action sequences.
Wow. All right.
The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is lower, though, with a 42%, which I think is a little more accurate. I would even go lower, but we'll get into that later.
In today's dollars, adjusted for inflation, that's about 392 million.
Oh, crap.
Just
Can I
domestic.
have one? I just want one of those million.
Just
How do I get a million?
If you write a letter to Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
I'm sure he would send back a coconut cake and $1 million.
at $1 million.
Yeah.
buy a coconut cake.
He's notorious for every Christmas sending a specific coconut cake to his list of friends.
Hey.
Oh, that's
quick
fun.
question.
Yeah.
What the fuck's a coconut cake?
A cake that has
Like-
coconut as a main ingredient.
Ew.
What?
I don't know.
Coconut's
I'll take
disgusting.
it.
I
Coconut
want you to-
shavings?
I want you. No, hang on. I want you. First of all, flavor great, mouthfeel awful.
no, I don't like the mouthfeel.
Mouthfeel. I want you to go down the internet rabbit hole that is the Tom Cruise coconut cake.
Okay, cool.
Go
All
for
right, we're gonna. That'll be my homework
After
next
the
time.
show.
it. No, right now. Yeah. Critical reaction. Yeah.
So where was I? Audience score. So
He's so
shouldn't have
bad.
given you guys beer.
Keep rolling. Let's go.
All right, Metacritic rates from an A+ to an F scale, and it gave this film a B, which is just below Mission Impossible on their scale, which was a B+.
Yeah.
Shocking to me.
This isn't like a poorly received movie. No.
Yeah,
I think
you have thoughts.
so when we get into our impressions, I think the prism of modern sensibilities
Yeah.
rips this fucking thing to shreds.
To be fair, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay, so Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times awarded the film 3 stars, stating if the first movie was entertaining as sound, fury, and movement, this one is more evolved, more confident, more sure-footed in the way it marries minimal character development into seamless action.
Minimal character development.
Wait, hold on. He's not wrong. He's like, hey, this movie understood its assignment and it fucking rolls. Like, I actually don't disagree with that assessment. Like, minimal character development, opulence, craziness.
Yeah.
You did it well.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Judge it on its merits, not what you wanted.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly said that it was a throwaway pleasure, but also a triumph of souped-up action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Ella Taylor of LA Weekly said, every car chase, every plane crash, every potential drop off a cliff is a masterpiece of grace and surprise.
Fuck off.
And then this
Masterpiece is a hard word.
Yeah.
masterpiece is, you're just throwing it around there.
It's weighted.
Dustin Howe of the Washington Post said that John Woo takes complete command of the latest technology to create a brilliant action sequence.
At least he didn't say movie. Like, action sequence.
Oh, fuck.
Brilliant.
All right, now we're getting into more negative critics. So Jay Hoberman of The Village Voice called it a vaguely absurd thriller filled with elaborately superfluous setups and shamelessly stale James Bond riffs. You break it.
Just leave it down.
Okay.
Vicious Marshmallow, we're so sorry.
Sorry, Vicious.
Jonathan Rosenbaum of the Chicago Reader said that no hero or villain winds up carrying any moral weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, that harkens back to the problem that they were having with the script in real time. There's literally no moral weight.
Yeah. And then this I found interesting. In a retrospective commentary in 2012, Brad Brevitt, who, as far as I could tell, I just saw him do a few reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but he noted that the film has significant similarities in plot and themes to Alfred Hitchcock's 1946 film Notorious, a spy film noir directed and produced by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman, and Claude Rains as three people whose lives become intimately entangled during an espionage operation.
I want to see that.
Quite literally, sounds like the same plot. Grant plays a U.S. agent with the help of Bergman's character playing the daughter of a German war criminal. They fall in love, but Bergman's character eventually has to seduce an executive who is Rain's character, which causes a lot of shit.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada, yada. Just watch Mission Impossible 2. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's this Hitchcock loser?
Don't watch that.
Tom Cruise all day.
Okay, but now we're getting on to awards. Mission Impossible 2 won 2 MTV Awards, one for the Best Male Performance by Tom Cruise and Best Action Sequence. It was also nominated but did not win.
Best action sequence.
Yeah, but not male performance.
The bar that is like held, the standard that is held by the MTV Movie Awards.
Yeah, it's true.
Sure, that's fine.
Fair enough.
It's not like they're celebrating feats. I don't know what happened in 2000.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Amadeus or anything.
Okay.
1985.
So it was nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards, which I disagree. Worst, what?
What's a Golden Raspberry Award?
Oh,
Razzies.
What is that?
bad. You're awarded for how bad it is.
Thank you. Just curious.
Yeah. So they were nominated for Worst Supporting Actress for, I disagree with, Tandaway Newton.
She
Nah,
crushed
man.
this.
Nah, she understood the assignment.
She understood the assignment. She was given little to work with, but I want you to guess who won based off.
Off the year 2000?
I'm going to give you a list of options.
Oh, thank
it's
you.
multiple. It's a multiple choice question.
So long
What
ago.
did you see in the year 2000 and what sucked?
So it's Renee Russo for The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
What the fuck?
Tandaway Newton for Mission Impossible 2, which I already gave away. She's not in it.
Boris and she was Natasha.
Natasha.
Joan Collins in The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas.
God damn it.
Patricia Arquette in Little Nicky. Or Kelly Preston in Battlefield Earth.
Kelly Preston.
Battlefield Earth.
Yeah,
That's the worst
she
movie.
won.
That movie was so bad, Lord Jesus himself was like, I'm going to shut down your movie theater. You guys are free to go. My whole theater shut down.
It was really bad.
It was
really
so bad. I never finished that movie. It's so bad.
The director is the second unit, like it's his first and only like feature film. He's the second unit director for Phantom Menace. That was his only claim to fame.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was also nominated for a Razzie for the worst remake or sequel. Again, it did not win. These were the other nominees: How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2,
Oh.
That should have won.
Get Carter,
I didn't mind that.
or the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. Which one of, and then Mission Impossible 2, but that one
The
didn't
second
win.
one, Book of Shadows.
What do you think?
Rock Vegas.
Book of Shadows.
Oh,
I told you we reviewed it already.
Undeniably a terrible movie. I, even the Razzies, which is an organization that's garbage, was like, no.
yeah.
Just
yeah.
no.
No
Blair
thanks.
Witch
No
2,
thanks.
Book of Shadows won that year.
It's that. You know what? What's a more 2000 movie?
Great movie.
Yeah.
Book of Shadows
This.
or this?
Oh my god.
This.
This.
Although the first 10 minutes.
The first scene,
Of-
like the goop in the tube and the
the
like
goop
smoking.
in the tube, yeah.
That's so
The tube
Smoking while
and the quick speed up edits
of
of
him
like
in the padded cell.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
That is
God
a
damn
Creed
it.
video.
Anyone who wants to know our thoughts on the Blair Witch trilogy, feel free to look them up and watch the
Yeah.
episode. We did a whole thing.
It was also nominated for a Stinker Award at the 2000 ceremony for Worst Song for Limp Bizkit's Take a Look Around.
If only we could fly. Limp Bizkit style. Anyway,
That
so
is-
that's all of it. Okay,
That's all of
okay.
my
Now we get into the meat and potatoes. Not you first.
What if I pee?
You go ahead.
Oh, thank God. I'll be right
Go
back.
piss.
Who's gonna stop you? But you're gonna miss her impression. So this is the first time you saw this movie. This is the first time you've seen this movie.
Yes, it is.
So we set the stage, made sure that we had so every time that we do a movie night, I want to recreate a movie theater experience as much as possible. So minimal interaction, minimal distractions, minimal problems, but this was impossible.
Can I say something though?
Sure, what's the matter?
No, nothing's matter.
Oh.
Noel went out of the way to buy my favorite movie theater snack,
I did.
which he absolutely hates.
Junior mints are fucking stupid.
He bought 2 boxes of Junior Mints so that I'd have them to watch this movie.
Well, because I knew that this was going to be a tough sit.
Yeah.
Or
And they were like the special
potentially was a tough sit.
Yeah.
So just like, how do we feed her and make her stay?
bribe her with the mints.
Vegetarian options and junior mints. Yeah.
I had a great time other than the movie. The company and the food was great.
Okay. So what did you think? So first of all, we went from Mission Impossible, which you enjoyed,
Yes, I very much enjoyed Mission
to
Impossible.
this movie, which I think is just a completely different thing.
It was an entirely different
So
movie.
what were your thoughts? You and my wife had a time. What did you?
Me
What did you
and
think of
Sam
the movie?
had a lot of fun. I think visually I didn't hate it, but as soon as they said something along the lines of, "Oh, she has to sleep with a man and lie to him. She's a woman. She can do it all the time." I just started like laughing to myself, and you're like, "I'm so sorry. It's gonna get worse." I was
That's in the trailer too, I think, right? Like Anthony Hopkins is just like,
Hopkins does it.
what kind of training does she need to bet a man and lie to him? She's a woman. She has all the training she needs, and it's just like, oh.
like, grow up.
And yeah, the movie gets more misogynist after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than the blatant misogyny, what else? I mean, talk to me about it. Hate. What'd you hate? What'd you love? What'd you hate? What'd you hate? What'd you hate less?
What did I hate less? Less than the misogyny. And that just like kind of just took over everything. Yeah, it didn't. I don't know. The first one was just so good with hooking me in the beginning, with making it like almost like a murder mystery type deal. This one was like,
We mentioned like this is the first, second movie, and they focus just on mission.
yeah,
Every other movie after this, and as well as the first one, they go back to the formula of Ethan is framed, or Ethan is trying to save a person versus the mission, or like they go away from this like divorced, just linear mission, because I don't think this works.
no, it doesn't work. It was the villain I didn't love.
You didn't
Gray
love,
Scott.
You didn't love his line about monkeys and branches.
This goes back into the misogyny that I hated.
You didn't love that.
No, I hated it. I hated it so much.
So
All right, so say everything that I missed.
she just didn't love it.
Oh, okay, fair
Misogyny.
enough. Fair enough.
It's
Well,
very-
misogyny is.
Very misogynist.
Patriarchy. And then
I'm aware of them.
So
Yeah.
I watching it in real time, I felt the energy. I felt I was losing both you and Sam.
sorry.
No, it's totally fine because it's not a very well paced movie.
No.
I was very into my junior mints.
Yeah. But we got
Bought me
to
junior
He
mints.
did supply with Junior Mint.
we got to the injection sequence, and I was like, I know.
Then it picked up after that. You were
Hold
right.
on, because now the actual like fun part of the movie starts.
Yeah,
and I
it did
think
get fun after that.
I think it is just that sequence of her injecting herself, and then the whole action sequence that precipitates him doing that one-er shot out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is the movie. Like, this is when I think back on the movie, I think of this sequence and then everything else after it. I completely like forgot about the blatant, idiotic plotting and misogyny that is the entire first fucking
It is outstanding how aggressive the misogyny is in this movie. Did we discuss how
we're
blatant
discussing.
it is? God damn, I totally forgot about it. I watched this movie a couple months ago and then watching it again today for this show. I couldn't believe it. What's his nuts? Hannibal Lecter?
Anthony Hopkins.
So yeah, did we talk about this?
The line.
Women. Oh,
What kind of training do they need? Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of training.
What? She has to sleep with a man and lie to him? I think she has all the training she needs. She's a woman. Flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And I could have forgiven it if like, okay, it is that character specifically who is a misogynist. He is written that way.
The entire
and that's
plot
fine.
hinges on that.
But yes, the fact that the rest of the movie is all they ask of Tendaway Newton, Tendaway Newton, thank you, is to sleep with a dude and like use her feminine wiles to like get back into his graces. Well, like she's like the Black Cat in Marvel Comics.
She's so good at
She's
so
a-
many things. And
she's
they
a gnarly
spend a whole
thief.
scene showing you how good she is.
I'm just like, well, what if you sleep with a guy instead?
You know what?
Unforgivable.
This is very much like a product of the 2000s, like thinking that you're being that you're being equitable. Like, we're gonna show you just how capable she is. None of it matters. We're not gonna
We
use
don't
a
care.
goddamn bit of it.
Now-
But just so you know,
Now-
she's really capable.
Our hero, right, our protagonist, Ethan Hunt, does not agree with any of that.
That's true.
So the rest of the movie and the governmental,
IMF.
the IMF, who's making him do this, he disagrees with it. So vehemently, yeah. And doesn't want to do it, and it hates the fact that he even has to ask this of her. And he thought he was recruiting her because of her prowess as a thief. So
Because that's what he was led to believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's a very good point. The saving factor is that all of the misogyny comes from bad people.
Yeah.
The movie is structured and hinges on the misogyny, but it doesn't frame the misogyny as a feature. It's a bug.
Yeah.
But it doesn't redeem it, though.
No.
It doesn't
it's still-
redeem
it's
it
very
so much
icky.
as how it, like, if the climax of the movie negated the misogyny in any way,
Yes.
would have been fine.
Yes.
But it doesn't. She is still just a passive factor.
Whoa,
out
wait.
in the field.
She's passive until she decides to kill herself.
But even after that, though, she's just walking around
Yeah.
trying to kill herself, and they go find her and save her.
Yeah.
As opposed to her having agency to fix the problem herself.
I was making a joke.
I'm yes-anding your joke.
Yes, thank
So
you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So sorry.
I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
Yeah,
so
this
A+,
yeah.
5 stars. Got it.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. My
so-
favorite movie.
Except for that specifically, which I found pretty gross today, and I was flabbergasted, even though I just watched it a while ago. I was like, oh my God, I forgot about this. The rest of the movie is so dumb, it's fun.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I really wish I was in that room with you guys watching
The
it.
beginning was fun.
It's
When
so
they're, like,
dumb.
running off the cliff. And he like gets out of
and
the car.
somehow their cars get like Frankensteined together, and they're spinning in the exact same radius.
Why would they sit in the car that's hanging over the cliff to make out, though? Wouldn't they go to the other car to make
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Like, we could die at any moment. Let's make
Tom
out.
Cruise wanted
Yeah.
that. The car was being held by a singular wire.
Yeah.
That's right.
But the rest of it's so okay. When I saw it in the theaters back in the year 2000, I thought it was 2000. I thought it was just like the dumbest masterpiece.
Yeah.
I went there for some John Woo, and I feel like I got John Woo.
Orchestrated chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the things that you don't like in this movie, or either features or bugs, as Noel likes to say, are the same throughout John Woo's oeuvre, I would say.
Yeah.
The slow motion, the doves, the overly dramatic
The
daytime,
doves.
That
the daytime TV
that
show of it
whole-
all.
That whole like break into the compound. Ah, it's so cool. Running through pigeons and then like that big explosion.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that whole sequence when he blows the door open, and you see the stunt people in this movie are fucking phenomenal. They get flown out of the air from a door getting down a hallway exploding. You see the scuffs of their shoes in the wall because they actually get thrown through the air.
That's
I didn't notice that.
That's pretty cool.
But
pretty
then
great.
the choice after that of showing the reflection of the fired frame door in the eyes of Dougray Scott, and then a music sting of a dove coming through the fire and Tom Cruise just slowly walking past it. And the music is just like, just huge orchestral stings. I'm like, this movie knows what it's doing. It understands the assignment.
Also, there are so many ridiculous camera angles and shots in this that I didn't really notice until I was like paying attention and looking for it. But like even this stupid scene where they're in the tub together is like it's shot in a specific way, and then she pulls him into the tub with her, and then it goes around, it goes up to the ceiling, and then does a bird's eye view down on the tub. It's just really masterful camera work, really well done.
It was no joke.
And there's a scene where this is a scene that Tom Cruise kind of wanted in the movie, and it was a love at first sight scene between him and Tendawe Newton, where there is a bunch of flamenco dancers dancing, and
The Paso Doble, by the way.
the what now?
The Paso Doble.
What's that?
It's a dance.
It's a dance.
It's a lot of clamping foot dancing.
Yeah, they clamp some feet. And so the cool thing is that in this shot, there are 3 different speeds happening, because you have the slow motion of Tendawe Newton and Tom Cruise looking at each other. And then you have the people in the background just behind them who are moving in real time. And then you have the super, super slow motion of the flamenco dancers dancing in right up against the screen.
Yeah,
What's that called?
Superimpose the dancers in slow motion.
Yes.
First of all, I love you so much for noticing that.
Thank you. I noticed it for you.
Like layering shots on top of each other to create like different kind of emotions. And
So cool.
John Woo's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Like we said, understands the assignment. If we could just negate and get rid of all of the strange misogyny in this movie.
It's very 2000. Sorry, that's not an excuse.
No.
But it is a reason. It is very ignorant.
Yeah.
It is a very ignorant movie.
Oh man.
It just is.
movie would be so short.
Do you
To get all that.
so,
A
Alice?
good 20 minutes less if you took out all of the like weird, hardly consensual plot
Coercion.
points.
Yeah.
Coerced plot points. Yeah.
I was never mind. You answered my question.
All right.
Did you find their relationship, their romance, to be engaging in the slightest?
Ethan and Naya.
Yeah.
Ethan and Naya. Oh, that was different. I'm talking about when she had to
Naya and Sean.
Naya and Sean. That was
Yeah.
coercion.
Yeah.
That was not technically consensual.
Despite all, and maybe this is just member berries talking, but despite all of the unmistakable and unforgivable misogyny, including like that is the plot of this whole movie, I didn't doubt Ethan and Naya's kind of like attraction to each other.
Yeah.
So fast.
It is incredibly fast.
So fast.
But
Very
also,
fast.
that is a
happens.
product of like the 90s and the 80s in movies. Like people would know each other for 2 days and then sacrifice themselves for each other
Yeah.
for the plot of a movie.
I mean, to be fair, Romeo and Juliet.
Basically, they knew each other for like 2 days.
Classic 90s.
Classic 80s Romeo and Juliet.
But I like that's one of those like common narrative things that I usually forgive. Like you've known each other for 2 days, but you're
Yeah.
willing to change your lives for each other.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But like I didn't doubt their chemistry. It was just more
Right.
like, why is the plot hinge on her being degraded?
Yeah.
The whole plot hinges on her being degraded. And it's hard to circle. Like it's a hard square to circle.
Yeah. It's a hard
so-
circle to square.
It's a hard
Oh my God.
None of it spilled.
hair to hit. It's so bad. So I reluctantly kind of love
Because
this
she
movie.
was like, it's almost like she wasn't a character. It was because it needed to make Ethan upset in a way.
She's the plot.
She's the plot.
She doesn't. It doesn't pass the Bechdel test, right?
Don't know. Does she ever talk to another woman?
Is there another woman in this entire
Holy
movie?
shit.
Is there another woman
No, I don't think
No.
so.
with dialogue? Not a fucking one.
Nope.
Oh my god. Oh.
Hey
Take me
everybody,
25
I'm the token woman on this podcast.
Why did it take me 25 years?
Wow.
Okay.
So
5 stars.
Dun, dun, dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun.
Make a movie with 2 females that talk to each other. Tom Cruise. It's an
Wow.
impossible mission.
It's
Well, I mean, as we keep going with the other movies, you'll realize just how impossible that mission might be.
shit.
And I'm so sorry in advance. Yeah. Anyway, so my thoughts.
Oh yes, please. Tell us.
Your favorite movie?
I have a lot of affection for this movie, but I absolutely know how bad it is.
Okay, you have a lot of affection and you know how bad it is.
Yeah.
Does some of the badness infect how much you like it? Is that part of
Positive or negative?
Yeah, is that part of the thing why you like it?
There's-
That's part of why I like it. Is how bad it is.
There is a like crank it up to 11 kind of aesthetic that I do think is bad, but it's a benefit to this movie.
Yeah.
Very much. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But it very barely eclipses the truly structural and terrible problems of the movie.
Yeah.
So when I've revisited this movie over the last 25 years, it has almost exclusively been the third act.
Yeah.
I only ever really revisit the third act from the injection scene on. I don't remember the last time I watched this all the way through with like clear eyes because it's not good.
Yeah. I wouldn't
But like
recommend it.
the last 40 minutes, I think are put it in a time capsule. This is essential viewing to understand the world pre 9/11.
Yeah. Okay.
I genuinely do. And this is my hot take about the movie. I don't think if this movie was made a year prior or a year after, it wouldn't fucking exist. Because the way that espionage and action movies were treated post 9/11, because this came out in May 2000, wildly different.
Oh, yeah.
This movie does not it exists in this sweet little weird bubble that would not occur 6 to 12 months prior or post. And that's why it almost feels oddly special
Yeah.
because it's like this weird piece of lost media or ephemera that doesn't exist in any other kind of like
Which is
confluence of
good.
events. It is good.
It's good that it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
But I feel like it's a really, really interesting case study for what culture was like
Yeah.
in May 2000.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
It just agnostically, like the promise of what media was or could have or was going, but then to be completely cut off by a completely different approach to media. Because like, I don't think people really remember that like 2001 on, if you were doing a spy story, bad guys were brown.
Yeah.
Terrorism was not a hypothetical. The way it became very anglicized and abusive and more grounded was something that doesn't exist in the world that they were making this movie in, where you have, like it's, and also too, a fucking deadly virus.
Yeah.
and
Could cause a pandemic.
and they were approaching it with, guns and and motorcycle tricks.
Yeah.
Like this is like a weird, I think it's a weird artifact of the transition from the 20th to the 21st century.
Yeah.
And because of that, I give it a lot more grace personally.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And sorry.
Yeah, please.
I worked at a biotech company in an infectious disease lab during a pandemic.
Holy shit, what?
I did not get one motorcycle. I did not get a gun. It was not this exciting.
How about
leather?
cool shades that explode? No. Oh.
I made these myself. And they don't even explode.
If you,
I throw
honestly,
them
though,
so many times.
If you throw them
They never explode.
You throw them at that camera. First of all, I think Dylan would be fine with it.
Dylan would
obviously.
explode. Dylan would explode.
So-
What would happen?
With me, the reason I have member berries for this movie is almost 50% Ben Stiller at the MTV Movie Awards
we watched
doing
it.
a skit with Tom Cruise.
It was very funny.
And that is a perfect example of what I like about this movie is that there is an immediate self-deprecating goof about it, starring Ben Stiller as Tom Cruise's stunt double in the.
He changed his name to Tom Cruise,
With
spelled
CROOZE, right? Is that what it was? So that is sort of how I enjoy this movie, is through the lens of a goof.
Yeah, no,
I mean?
that's also wildly valid, and I agree with it. Like,
Yeah.
so I was managing a movie theater at the time, and this is one that we would walk in towards the third act and just like rewatch it because I don't know, it was like, this is so 2000.
Yeah.
So fucking 2000. And again, if it was 2001, like this is pre-Born Identity, post I don't know, something that came out in 99. This is such a weird. Yeah, I know.
Post is something else.
Yeah, but this is such like it. The perfect conditions created this thing that we call a movie, and it wasn't replicated past that, and it will never happen again. This is a weird fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I appreciate how fucking weird it is.
Yes.
I can appreciate that. Yeah.
Given my druthers, I would watch Mission Impossible 1.
Oh no, this is one of the worst.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of the worst. Well, you know, like getting in that. Okay, we're gonna rate them.
Between the two movies
No.
that
We're
we've
gonna
discussed so far?
Rate this individually, not rank. Rate.
Oh.
So on a scale of 1 to 5 lit fuses, how would you rank Mission Impossible 2, also known as M:I-2, from 2000, directed by John Woo?
Oh, hold on. What was your forgive me, I don't remember your review of the MI1.
I don't even remember my review of MI1.
What would you give MI1 now?
I liked it. I'm trying to remember how many lit fuses I gave.
Out of 5, did you go?
I gave
4?
it like I gave it almost 4. I gave it like just above 3. I think I did 3.5, and you were about the same. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is. I did like the third act with maybe 2, just for the third act.
I'd go 2.5, 2.75.
Whoa.
2.84.
Dylan, throw that up on the monitor.
2.84 for the third act, the score, and the weird vibe.
I hate the score.
I love the
I
score.
hate the score.
I love
He
it.
was so excited about the score that he brought it up to play it right before we went live, and I was like, I hate this.
When we're off this, I want to play another one where they actually use the MIB. When he's running down the corridor and pulls the mask off and immediately goes into dun, 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 dun.
I did
dun,
love
dun.
that part.
Like,
That's what I was like
Yeah,
in.
one of the things I do love, I'm sorry, I'm being very negative about this movie despite really enjoying it. The beginning where you're introduced to the Russian chemist,
Yes.
and then he's sitting with Dmitri, and you find out, oh, it's Dmitri. Oh,
It's
silly.
Ethan.
That's Tom Cruise. That's not Dmitri. And then you find out after that it's not Tom Cruise. It is another dude who's a dipshit who's wearing a Tom Cruise mask. And then you find out via the misogynist in charge of the whole thing, what's his nuts?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, that like, oh, that's an IMF compadre.
He has another IMF agent that had
That went
doubled for
rogue.
Ethan at times.
Yeah.
So like they have similar.
I really liked those couple layers of reveal. I thought that was really cool.
They go out of their way to set up Sean Ambrose as a toe-to-toe colleague and like a match for Ethan. Yeah.
The problem is I never once buy Doug Ray Scott as someone who could go up against Tom Cruise.
I read the knife eye sequence. They did that. Tom Cruise insisted on it being a real knife.
Fuck off.
And
He
Worried
insisted
about
on
him.
being killed.
to measure that, all they did was measure it an inch, like a quarter of an inch from his eye, and then a cable for him to
Fuck
like
off.
stab down.
No.
So I personally thought it was a good old Sam Raimi reverse.
Yes.
Nope. And he encouraged Doug Ray Scott to just like fucking go for it because it's going to save us. I think Tom Cruise lives in a world where he's impenetrable.
To be fair, I've never once penetrated him.
Because he's
He may be impenetrable.
That's, you know what? You don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's true. I
Unless
just
you
know
try-
I've never done it.
Go try and penetrate him. You know what? Make that your pop culture resolution. I'm going to penetrate him
I'm not a part of this.
with his consent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
God damn it.
yeah, I think he lives in like this weird world where because he's exhausted of all thetans, he can't be stabbed. I don't know, but either way, they did film that for real with it like that close to his fucking eye.
To an extent, not that far, I hope. I do get the like, I do have a lot of extreme hobbies where I like mountain climbing. I'm thinking of this because I had an accident climbing on a mountain
Where you stabbed your man in the eye?
he saved me because I was literally about to fall off a mountain and my hiking pole flew up while I was falling and he caught me with one hand as I stabbed him in the eye with another.
I'd marry him for that.
That's what I'm saying. He'd already proposed at that
Are
point.
you taken? Because I will marry you.
Yeah, I don't know. And I do like, sometimes I'll just be in it. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Let's do this more extreme thing. But this knife in the eye, that
No.
close?
Even you have your limits.
Maybe.
Pink,
Do you have a knife? Let's try.
Pink actually brings up a really great point about Rambo 3. Reminder that the aging Gen Xer, that jihadist mujahideen in Afghanistan were the heroes in Rambo 3 before 9/11 flipped the cultural propaganda script. If you're going to try to go on a Mission Impossible to penetrate crews, improve your odds by wearing flats. He's a short
Because
boy.
he's a little guy.
Hey, he's
just
my
a little
height.
guy and it's his birthday.
He's my height.
Yeah.
So I feel like both of
all
us
thing.
would have a wonderful barefoot slow dance.
I'm sorry. Fucking pause. Did any of us, I went off and had a wee. Did any one of us discuss the glorious flowing locks
But you brought up a great point.
brandished?
Right as soon as the movie started, I was like,
God damn.
All right, I know the rules. I'm not supposed to interrupt anything, but this is peak Tom Cruise.
Oh my God.
He doesn't look
say that.
baby face. He doesn't look old. His hair is beautiful and he's tan as shit. This is peak Tom Cruise. Absolute peak Tom Cruise.
I peeked at Tom Cruise.
Pink also too. I remember in Rambo 3, there's a postscript at the end of the movie saying, you know, like thanks to all of the brave mujahideen in Afghanistan kind of thing. Yeah, it's media is fun.
Different time.
Different time.
Yeah. Is there anything-
So ranking. No, not ranking. Rating.
Ratings.
How many lit fuses out of 5 would you give Mission Impossible 2? You said,
2.
or you said 2. I said 2.87
out of 5.
out of 5.
I'm going to go
We should maybe write these down.
2.
2?
2.25.
2.25? 2.25, 2.84,
2.
2.
Okay, here's the thing. 2.25.
2, and I'm like about to put the second one out. Like I can change my mind at any moment.
2.25 if I'm by myself in my living room. Fucking 5 stars. 5 lit fuses if I'm in a room full of people watching this movie.
Drunk.
Drunk. 9.
I don't trust
9.5.
you with open containers, not because you're drinking, just
9.5%.
because you're a clumps.
I'm a clumps. I'm a clumps.
Yeah, it's a new word. You like it. It's
You heard
good.
it here first, ladies and
That's not a
gentlemen.
short
I'm the
joke. It's
clumps.
making fun of not letting. Yeah.
Yeah, my point is that this is a blast with friends. If you have some, get some and then watch this movie.
So this movie made a lot of money.
The most money.
It was very successful, but because everything changed less than a year later, this is the last movie like this in the franchise, and there was a good 6 years. I think part 3 doesn't come out till like 2006 or 2008. So like, there's a little bit of Mission Impossible movie jail.
So,
How do you
someone
approach it after
commented on that short we posted where he was like, wrong.
Well, because he didn't hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
So somebody did comment on a short that we had of, I guess he misinterpreted that I said there was only 6 years between Mission Impossible and Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah.
No, it was 6 years between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And 8 years between the 2. Yeah. Fucking relax.
Is there anything? Oh, Pink says it's not a short. That wasn't a short joke. It's I'm so drunk.
He did.
It's making fun of him not letting Nicole Kidman wear heels. I am never gonna do this again.
she's a tall
Holy
lady.
shit!
It's fine.
so good, though.
Hey, look.
Thank you, Alice.
Would you? I don't know if I would recommend Mission Impossible 2 in a vacuum. I just don't.
No.
But
While you're vacuuming,
yeah.
maybe.
Well, if it's one of those just like rollers, like a carpet at old restaurants, where you just like
Oh, those little back and forth things. Yeah, I remember those.
Linton,
Yeah.
like big pieces.
Yeah.
I in a vacuum, I would not recommend this movie because it's a very weird movie.
Yeah, it is weird.
In the breadth of all of the Mission Impossible movies and just kind of talking about the last act, it's fun. In the right
last act is
circumstances,
fun.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Like from him jumping out of that building, which is still a banger one of him running through, like the backlit weirdness and the fucking shit flying everywhere, and he jumps out the building and the camera tracks him down. It's a beautiful movie.
I really like
It really
the
is a
part.
beautiful
I really like the part where the two of them, Dougray Scott and Tom Cruise, are going at each other in midair with the motorcycles,
And they
then
kiss.
Tom Cruise turns to the camera and goes, "This mission just got a whole lot more impossible."
Possible.
That was my favorite part.
Nailed it.
It did happen.
Yeah.
Did.
Wasn't
Anything else we want to talk about? MI2? MI:2?
Before we go away, our Australian ambassador, Carl Carls, has jumped in the chat. My son and
love
I
you.
had a marathon of all the MI films from 1 to 6, which was the current one at the time, and it was fun, but definitely the hardest one to watch.
Yeah.
We all agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
This movie is a weird boil on the ass of the franchise.
Ew.
Ouch.
However, I don't think it's completely dismissible.
Yeah.
I think
As
there's
boils on the ass. All
I-
right.
as far as boils on the ass go. Your favorite
If
boil
you
on the
just
ass
get rid of the
whole
weird
series.
misogyny.
It's hard to dismiss them.
Just watch the last
If you
third.
get rid of
It
half the
literally-
movie, you're fine.
Just watch the last third, and
Yeah.
it's a great piece of 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Limp Bizkit. It's great.
Fuck off. All right. Anything else before we jettison?
So next week we're going to be talking about these notes aren't real. Next week we're going to be talking about Wolfman, the new movie coming out by Lee Winnell, as well as maybe our thoughts about Creature Commandos and or Skeletons.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
By James Gunn.
yeah. But after that, the sky's the limit. So be sure
Hey.
to.
Yeah. If you guys have anything you want us to discuss, review, whatever.
That's right. Actually, the next 2 weeks we got booked. This is going to be fun. So we're going to be talking about Creature Commandos and Wolfman next week. The week after that, our listener episode, we're going to be reviewing Necrotronic, 2018
For Carl Carls.
Australian horror action comedy, and Strange Darling, a 2024 thriller.
For Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight.
Let's
So that's I would love to do more of those.
Two
So
very active listeners.
anybody watching, listening, write in. If you want us to approach or review something, please let us know. We'd love to.
Also, let us know if you want us to drink Sour Monkey with
My liver can't hold that. No.
the episode or not.
We're just going to do it sometimes.
Okay.
This movie required alcohol.
Yeah.
Other Mission Impossibles won't, but maybe Twilight will. I'm gonna go ahead and
I want to have
tease that.
three.
Why
I'm going to
don't
have
we
three
to
of
be
these.
sober for because it's a Mormon book.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. We don't have to be sober.
Oh my God.
We still haven't finished. Sushan and I have been watching Heretic, but we haven't finished it yet.
That's a movie.
Yeah.
I would love to hear her thoughts on the third act.
Yeah, but we got to a certain point where we're like, okay, this is too scary for Kai, who's in the room. Our
Kai
son,
was
who's
watching.
three. He wasn't watching, but he was in the room.
We're gonna
He has some thoughts.
we're gonna
teach
teach
you,
you.
Grant.
It's fine. But thank you for joining us, guys.
Carl says Strange Darling is awesome. You might need it for Necrotronic.
You know what we might.
The Sour
I
Monkeys.
did. I already watched Necrotronic.
Bring us more Sour Monkeys. These are wonderful.
Carl, I watched half of Necrotronic. I got to finish it. That movie's a big fucking swing, and I kind of appreciate it so far. So
Oh, no,
let's
no,
see
no,
where
no,
it
no,
goes.
no. Shut up. Everyone shut up. Pink's in the chat saying, I'm too worried you'd rip the shit out of my beloved favorite I suggested.
Do it.
What did
is
you
it?
suggest?
What is it?
We're not leaving
Listen.
until you answer this question. What is
I'm
it?
reviewing Twilight in a few weeks, and
Yeah,
that's
we're going to be doing episodes on Twilight.
It's gonna be
so-
ripped apart. And
This is a safe space where we will not judge. I just talked about how much I enjoy Mission Impossible 2. Fucking beat that.
It's because he hates women.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Just,
wow.
Listen, just most of them.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
just the
wow.
ones sitting in this room.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you say something?
You're the worst. You're the worst woman.
I've been blacked
the-
out this whole episode.
You're the littlest.
I think
My mic doesn't even work.
I think Dylan probably wants us to leave.
Yeah.
But Pink, please let us know, and we will be as kind as humanly possible. You know what? If
just
anything,
because you recommended, I'm gonna.
We
be on your
love
side
you.
no
if
matter what.
anything, my disagreement with everyone else's love of Nosferatu was as respectful as I can be, and I tried to articulate why I didn't feel the same way.
He was like, it sucks butts.
Yeah, I'd be like, "What are you, stupid?" She obviously loves him.
She was asking for it.
But anyway, please let us know. I would love to to review or deep dive into.
Carl says The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
He hates it. I think it's a goddamn
I hate that movie
masterpiece.
so much.
I love it.
We
Carl,
watched that for gutter talk.
this is just drunk talking now. Carl, look at me. Look at me, Carl.
Look at him.
When I was 11, my mom told me you should watch this movie.
Oh.
And I have been obsessed ever since. Do you know how many times I ran out the VCR because I kept rewinding and rewatching the end credit sequence?
Why?
Because it's so awesome. The music is fantastic, and all of them like walking like a cool music video.
Nope.
I'd watch it over and over again.
Pink says A Vigilante starring Olivia Wilde.
I'm in.
Carl says Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension is my favorite movie of all time.
Well, he's a stupid. I'm sorry, Carl. I don't know.
Pink, I don't think I know A Vigilante starring Olivia Wilde, which I imagine has an E at the end.
A 2018 film, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
It's available. Hey, well, I'd watch the shit out of this.
You know what? That's on our list. We're now putting A Vigilante on our list. Awesome. Thank you, Pink. All right, guys. You know what? I apologize. 9.5%. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will talk at you later.
Yo, John!